back. Sorry for that little bit of a delay, but that's, working remotely from the Vault Media Studios right here at Cherry Creek Mortgage. I told you the show was live.
As Don says, it's a classic blooper reel every single time.
True.
What can go wrong will go wrong on radio.
Right.
That's how it goes.
But it's just radio, and the value we've already shared with you today has been phenomenal. This is our saddest 10 minutes of our week because we only got 10 more minutes with you, but we thank you for being part of the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show every Thursday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. You can always find out more by going to donandgino.com. In fact, it's really nice having great professionals that are accountable, that have years and years of experience, that have grown their business because they're accountable and they care about you. That's what we're all about, and that's why we put together America's Professional Resource Group, which is a group of the very best professionals we have interviewed and have come across that is accountable to our clients and their reviews and their success rates and what they really care about and giving back to community. And that's what it's all about. And the professionals at APRG is amazing. You go to aprgi.com, and you will see a list of great professionals. And we're adding great professionals all the time, and that's why it's really nice having a personal injury attorney here that we have not had the pleasure of having. And I'm already taking notes down. You've enlightened me on certain things I did not know about because, fortunately, I haven't had to need a personal injury attorney. But usually you don't know when you're going to need it, right?
You know what happens, Don, is it doesn't count when you're doing it to yourself on a motorcycle.
Oh, yeah. I sued myself.
Yeah. Don spent a lot of years as a professional motocross racer, so he's been put back together like Humpty Dumpty many a time.
Only 26 broken bones. No worries.
Yeah. Wow. You know what I'm excited about is during the break we were talking about some of the myths about insurance or claims or accidents and what things happen. And, some of those are really real fears that are instilled in a consumer by the insurance agencies. And I thought Matt made a great point. He says, you pay for insurance for a reason so that when you need their help, they need to step up and take care of it.
Exactly.
And so you made mention, one of the ones I always think of is, if I make a claim, my rates will go up. And that seems to be the number one most classic potential myth, right?
That's a myth. The reality is if you're not at fault, if you're the innocent victim and you're making a claim against somebody else's insurance company, and even if that accident got reported onto your driving record, because it's another myth, when you're involved in a car accident, the only way that that car accident gets reported onto your driving record, regardless of who's at fault, is by filing a form that's required by the DMV, which it's called the SR1 form. But it's a law, you have to file it. And then when it shows up that you had an accident, it doesn't say whose fault it is. It just says the date and the accident. That's where an attorney comes in to help our client to tell his insurance company, which they should already know, that the accident is not chargeable against them. It's not a liability claim against our client or the insured. Therefore, it should not affect their policy premium or their rating at all.
So something like that could actually cost them year over year if that isn't handled correctly.
If it's not handled correctly, their own insurance, when it comes time to re-rate, when the policy renews, and they just, an underwriter runs their record and says, oh, last May they had an accident, and they don't go beyond that to see the nature of the accident, they may surcharge them and increase their premium. So
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, it doesn't automatically happen, but you need to know that it's not supposed to happen. If a claim is made against you, then there's a chance that your premium may go up. But the myth is, I'm going to get canceled. My premiums are going to double or quadruple. The statistics are, if a premium is going to be increased, it goes up maybe 7 to 12% if the claim is against you. So it's really nominal in the big picture. Now, again, Matt said you paid for insurance, you paid a premium to be protected. So even in a comparative claim, the value of that insurance premium and even the increase is well worth it, so you don't have to pay out of your pocket. And that's if you're at fault.
Okay, good point. Since we only got a little bit more time, another great myth, and I'll let Gino tee this up because he had a great analogy for our industry, is about that I'm going to get less money in my pocket as compensation if I use an attorney versus just handling it on my own.
Right. So what happened was 3 weeks ago, we proved, going through a lot of research, that if you sold your home for sale by owner you are going to, on average, nationwide, receive 9% less than if you hired a professional realtor to represent you. Well, the cost of a professional realtor is only 5 to 6%. So you still stand to profit on average 3 to 4% above and beyond the real estate agent's fees by hiring them to represent you appropriately. Is the same true in PI cases?
Well, real quick, and what even worse, you're getting 3 to 4% less
for all the stress
without any representation.
Right.
So you guys probably see the same thing without representation, because then who knows what could happen.
Well, the first reality is why do you think the insurance adjuster, the insurance industry, who calls you after you've had an accident within 24 hours and tries to get you to sign a release for $200 or $500 and tries to get you to go away without an attorney, why do you think they do that? They know that if you're represented, it's not so much you're just going to get a lot more money. You're going to get the full value of your claim. And usually, probably 90% of the time, it is a lot more money. I can't tell you how many cases over the years, without specifying one particular case, people come to us and they were unrepresented and they had an offer of $500 or $2,000, and then we take over. And of course, the insurance industry digs their heels in, and they don't want to pay more. They want to prove a point, and we fight it, and that's where we file a lawsuit and we litigate. And a couple of years may go by, and we've done a lot of work, and we get the right amount of money, and that could be $100,000 or $30,000, but a lot more than the client would have otherwise accepted, and they didn't know better. They don't know the value of their claim.
And I can speak to that as well. I mean, working for the insurance company, I used to evaluate the bodily injury claims, reviewing all the medical specials, the reports and the bills, and I used to argue against Mr. Jerry Marcus here. And the cases that I would settle with claimants who were not represented, just based on my experience, settled for considerably less. Not because we were trying to get over on them, but simply because they didn't know better. They didn't know, how to present their own claim. And we presented it the proper way, in a nice demand package that is comprehensive of liability, and it discusses all the general damages, which is also known as the pain and suffering. And the average person doesn't know how to equate that.
It's actually funny you say that, because it's no different than if you were to do your own mortgage or whatever it is. 90% of the battles that we have for our clients to make sure they get loans are how you present the information to the underwriter.
Right.
It's, because no one lives their life in the way that Fannie Mae wants them to. And I'm assuming it's the
Right.
same way. No one lives their life nobody goes through their case the way the insurance company says you should.
Correct.
There is no right way. It's whatever your pain and suffering leads you to go do the next step.
Exactly.
It's your job to evaluate, analyze, and present that to the insurance company, saying, my client did the right thing, the best within their means, to take care of their injuries.
And we present it to the insurance adjuster, the person who's going to evaluate the claim and request authority from a manager to make an offer. Out of the gates, that first shot, the impact that it has is so important. So at the time of a demand for settlement, we put together this comprehensive, detailed demand for settlement letter and package as if we're going to trial, so that the reader is moved and it has as much impact as possible. And it makes a big difference. The average person, probably even if I had my own accident claim, and if I were to handle it myself, not like a lawyer, not representing myself, I wouldn't want to deal with it. I would just send them everything and assume I can trust them. But you can't make that assumption. It doesn't work. They're looking at it to minimize their liability and minimize their exposure and pay out as little as possible. So if they're given the opportunity to say, that doesn't check, he doesn't have proof for that, he doesn't have support for how he suffered over the weeks or months that he was in the hospital, it's not that bad, they're going to make a lowball offer.
Well, let's make sure you're represented correctly by someone who's got a ton of experience, helped over 10,000 clients for over $100 million in settlements, but that's not the important part. It's being represented by somebody who really cares about you and is going to get the job done. Mr. Gerald L. Marcus, the law office of Gerald L. Marcus, and Matt Crayon here. Thank you for joining us, guys.
Thank you very much.
What's the best way to get a hold of you guys? Website?
Give us a call.
Yeah, give us a call, 784-8544.
Okay, or go to Gerald
Marcus Law.
GeraldMarcusLaw.com. It's well worth it. You have so much great information on that. Thank you for enlightening us with some great topics today. You guys are great. Thank you for joining us on the Gino Real Estate Finance Show every Thursday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Check us out at donagino.com. Like us on our Facebook page. We like to be liked, and we'll see you next week.